So like it'll open with you talking, and then I'm like showing shit in your room. So, this guy's a nerd. Like,
How fucking deep is that shit?
So I remember as a kid that Power Rangers was my favorite show of all time, and I was like, I'm gonna write stories about Power Rangers. So I wrote stories about Power Rangers. I wrote stories where my friends were Power Rangers. I wrote stories where I was a Power Ranger, and I loved people. It was an excuse for people to read my stories, and that got me really excited about writing. And I was like, I could write a show like Power Rangers. I could write 4 Power Rangers. That's why I started writing, and I created my own web series. I created 21 Jump Street Rangers because that's a thing you do, right? But it actually helped me get a job in college, surprisingly enough. And it was in college where I finally found out about the Nick Writing Fellowship. Okay, so hello, my name is Shamus Kelley, 24 years old, single for right now. My name is Shamus Kelley, and I want to be a writer. And it's been that way for a long time, ever since I was a little kid. And one of the big avenues that I've been exploring to do that is the Nickelodeon Writing Fellowship. I remember back when I was in college, this is like it was a little more than 2 years ago now. My friend Dan first told me about, he was like, look at this link, like check this out. So I looked it up, and the Nickelodeon Writing Fellowship, like not only you get to work with Nickelodeon, which, we all watch as kids, right? We all watched some show on there. But like also they would also pay you for a year to learn how to write. And that's really amazing and awesome. So I sent in a script with a friend of mine, and we didn't get in, sadly. But I just said, I'm gonna move there, because I saw also that, and I looked because I did all of my research, and I looked on their Facebook, and I was like, oh, the first person who turns in their application gets to meet with the head of the Nick Writing Fellowship, and I was like, what? So when I moved out here after I graduated from college, I reapplied again, to this just myself this time, and I actually went down to the Nickelodeon offices in Burbank at midnight on the first day you could submit the application, and I turned it in. I think the security guard had no idea what I was talking about, but I did it anyway, and because of that, I got to meet with the head of the Nick Writing Fellowship, Karen Kirkland, and that was really awesome. It was the first time I really felt like I had made some kind of progress in the writing, because with writing, you're kind of by yourself. Like, you show it to your friends and things like that, and they're like, oh, it's great. And they say that because they're your friends, right? But it was the first time I was meeting with somebody who could actually, make some kind of difference in my writing career, which is kind of weird to think about. But again, I didn't make it in again that year, and I was pretty distraught because of that. I found out about a year ago. And then I actually teamed up with another friend of mine, Jake, and we've been writing together for a year, and we submitted again, and we're still waiting to hear from that now. But it's like, you wonder, it's like, did the script that we did, was it good? Is it going to help us win, right? But we had submitted it first again. I went to Nickelodeon at 12 o'clock at night with Jake on the phone, and I'm like, we're going to submit this script. We're going to submit this script. We're going to submit this script. And we did it. And we didn't have lunch with Karen Kirkland this time. We had lunch with all of the members of the Nick Writing Fellowship who are in the program now. And again, that was great. They gave us a lot of great advice. But then there was an event that I saw that was there was like some thing down where they were having some scavenger hunt at this theater. And I was like, okay, I'm going to go. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be great. And it was to get this orange ticket, right? And if you got it, you got to have a script review with Karen Kirkland, the head of the Nick Writing Fellowship. And I was like, what? Like, this is perfect. Like, because she'll be able to tell us if our script is good, and then we can submit it either again this year, or we can submit it for the next year. And oh my gosh. And I went down there, and I drove down into Hollywood, and I was like, oh my gosh, what is going on? What is going on? And I didn't get it. They were having it over 3 days, and they were giving away 3 of these tickets, right? And the first day, didn't get it. I went there like an hour early. I actually left work early that day to do it. Didn't get it. I was very distraught. I actually sat in my car for 2 hours and was basically crying the whole time. It was that bad. And I was on the phone with Jake, and I was like, oh my gosh, we're a failure. Like, we're never gonna get this. And then I went back the second day, and I literally went to that theater like 3 hours early. And it didn't work. I didn't get it again. I was very distraught. So the third day I was like, no, I'm going to do this. And I had Jake on the phone and I was like, we're going to make this happen. And she would every day what they would do is they would give out a clue where it was hidden in this theater. And I went and then when she gave out the clue, I figured it out because I scoped out the whole theater for hours the previous day. So I literally ran and I got the ticket, and it was like, and actually where is it? I have the ticket right here, actually. So you can see this. I got this, and it was probably one of the greatest moments of my life, if only because I had worked so hard and I finally got this in my hands, and I was like, yes. I was jumping around. I was very excited. I think I sang a song to myself in the car afterwards. And then we actually went to have that script review with Karen Kirkland, and it's amazing when someone who really knows what they're talking about gives you advice on your script. And I actually have that script somewhere if you want me to pull it out. But it's like she gave us notes on our script, and I just kept taking notes, and I was a little scared because I was like, I don't know what she's gonna say about the script we gave her, and she didn't love it or anything, but I got the impression that it was like kind of a cut above what she was used to. But she gave us a lot of notes on how to like change this here, like shrink this down, like put more emphasis on this part. And I feel like now that that's carrying Jake and I through a lot of what we do, and we're working on a new script now. And the process of working on a script is one of the hardest things you can do, because if you're writing your own original script, you're having to come up with characters, you're having to come up with a world, and you're having to come up with almost like a whole arc for what could be like 5 seasons of a show, 3, 5, 7 seasons. But not only that, you have to imbue it with character and feeling, and writing is a thing that sucks. I say this as a writer. It sucks because you're constantly doubting yourself, and you constantly have no idea if what you're doing is actually working. And that's where I feel like a lot of people actually give up with writing, because they're like, well, I'm not good enough, or I'm not getting the kind of praise I want right off the bat. I'm just going to give up. As a famous man once said, if you're tired of starting over, stop giving up, right? And I've sort of have taken that to heart recently. And I know that this writing thing could take 10 years for me to be successful, but I have to do it. I mean, they say like, if you want to do something in life, you can't not do it. And that's the thing with me. Like, I mean, I have a job, I have a 40-hour work week, but I write every day. This is my schedule every day, right? I get up at 4:50 a.m. every morning. I go running. I then write for an hour before I go to work. I go to work, work, come home, exercise again, then write for another hour before I go to bed, and then I'll usually write on the weekends. And it doesn't feel like a lot, but when you add that up, that's at least 10 hours of writing every week. And I oftentimes will do more depending, and I'll get on Skype with my co-writer and we'll talk and things like that about like, what we're working on and stuff like that. And it's really great to have a co-writer for that reason. But for me, I can't tell you how many times I'm writing things and I'm like, this sucks. This is literally the worst thing I've ever written in my entire life. But I keep writing it because at the very least I try to finish it. Because finishing is the biggest thing. I can't tell you how many people I know who have unfinished stories, or they think it's not good enough, and I'm like, look, the first draft is going to suck no matter what you do. This is what I've learned. And then you can rewrite it as many times as you want. I mean, you don't want to keep rewriting, but because you have to let it go at some point. But with writing, I'm just like, fucking guys sawing shit over there. No, but like you keep writing, and honestly, I found, because it was about like a year and a half ago where I said I'm just going to write as often as I can, and it's been tough because at first, like I'm sort of at that point now where I know that a lot of what I'm doing is not at the level that I want it to, and again, it'd be very easy to give up, but I can't, because I can feel myself inch by inch getting better and better and better, because like, again, I can't not do this. Like some people are like, do you have a backup if you don't succeed at writing? I'm like, yeah, I mean, I have my job now. I do social media every day. I mean, that's a pretty good job, especially in the world we live in, right? But I can't do that forever. Like, I have to do writing, and I don't have another option, Yes. And it feels weird even talking about writing like this. Like I talk like I know what I'm talking about with writing, because I don't. Like I haven't had any measurable success, as it were. Like, you know, I've been able to meet with some Hollywood writers and talk to them, and I've been able to show my script from a guy who wrote for Lost. So that's really exciting, but I still haven't made it. And I have no idea if I'm ever going to make it in Hollywood as a writer. It's a cutthroat business where tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people are trying to get in every year. And you're also competing with writers who have actually written episodes of television before. And because that's what I want to do. I want to write for television. And there are people who have actually done what I want to do and are still trying to keep their jobs. And I'm like, how do I compete against that? And the only thing I can do is work hard, be a decent person, you know, that always helps, and just keep writing so that I have a body of work, so that when I get my chance, it will come, it will. So when I get my chance, I'll have something to show, and maybe I can make a living doing this whole writing thing. I don't know if it's going to work out, but I will keep trying until I'm like dead. If I don't make it, then at least I know that I tried my whole life, and that's what really matters.